Right, hello and welcome to another video. I'm currently sat in the car park of Swan Valley Lake, having just had a mind-blowing result for January. It's towards the end of January now, and yeah, if you haven't seen that video, go and check it out on the Prologic Channel. It'll probably be linked down below or something like that. But onto this video, we're heading to a little water in Hampshire. We've only got 24 hours, and this video is going to be all about trying to nick a bite in the winter when you're short on time and the fish aren't particularly feeding very well. Also, the venue has got a mono hook link rule, so no braided hook links allowed. So I'm going to be showing you my rig to get around that problem, and it's barbless as well. So yeah, I'll be talking to you a little bit about the tactics to sort of fish a mono hook link, but also trying to nick a bite in the winter when you're short on time. So I'm going to get on the road now, head to the venue, and then I'll catch up to you once I've got everything all set up. Right guys, here we are, beautiful Hampshire. It's only an hour away from where I was fishing in the last video, and it's only a small lake this. It used to be a match lake and it was full of carp, and these carp have grown now, and there's about 15 or so originals left that are absolutely beautiful scaly ones, and that's why I'm here really. I'd love to catch one of those in the winter. Really dark, really scaly, just how we like them, isn't it? So I've got here. It's about 1:30. Had a little look around, but I kind of knew where I wanted to be, and I walked around the far side, and there was actually a couple of fish kind of tucked in the margins there, so chucked a few boilies across there. I'm just going to get the rod sorted, cast out, and then we'll talk to you a bit more about the rigs, and yeah, a bit more about tactics and things. So I better get cracking, and I'll catch up to you shortly. Right, so we are all set up now. It's 2 rods only on this lake, so I've got my 2 rods out. Basically, I've been here before and I've caught really well on that far margin, and I had a little walk around and there was a couple of fish over there. One of them was a ghostie, and I know there's a big ghostie in here that's sort of 32 pound. So, you know, it was quite easy to decide where to go because I know the spot. I've got my wraps written in my notebook, and I'd seen fish there. So I basically gave them a few baits, you know, kind of 30 or so. Don't want to go crazy in the winter, but on this lake they do feed all the year round, so you can give them a little bit of bait. So I've gone in with a nutty kind of milk protein bait, which is amino ester, and I've just put out maybe 30 of those, like I say. And then over the top I've just got 2 little snowman rigs. Now the reason I've gone for a snowman rig is because the hook bait is a little bit bigger than just say a boilie straight out the bag, and this lake is known for big roach which go over 3 pounds I believe, and so if you're using just like a 15mm boilie, it's quite easy for those fish to get that in their mouth. And as much as I'd love to catch a 3 pound roach, I'm kind of after the carp, so I've gone for a bigger hook bait. I've used like a dumbbell hard hook bait with a pop up on top, so it's quite a long bait, so there's no way a roach can really get that in its mouth, and the hook as well. Another reason, and the reason I've used a hard hook bait is so that it resists the attention of the roach kind of pecking away at it as well. So my hook bait's kind of roach proof, if you like, but also because it's a snowman, it's a little bit buoyant, so it kind of just gets sucked up easier by the carp as they come in, hopefully feeding on those baits that I put out, and a little bit of colour on top because it's winter. It just catches their eye, and hopefully it's one of the first baits to go when I do get a take, if I'm lucky enough to get a take. You just never know in the winter, but I've kind of done all I can, got both rods out. They went out nicely, and a little scatter of bait around it. I'll probably give it another 12 to 15 baits just before dark, just to make sure there's some fresh kind of smell in the area. And then hopefully we'll have a couple of fish or more through the night. You never know. There's some really lovely scaly ones in here, so I'd love to get one of those. Anything over kind of 20 pound is a good fish for here, so we'll have to kind of hold on hope for one of those turning up. But if not, there's plenty of doubles and things, and they're beautiful looking fish. So yeah, I'll be happy with one fish, but more would be nice, hey. So in a minute, I'm going to show you the rig. It's a mono only rule on this lake, so there's no braided mainline and no braided hook links. So obviously you've got to use mono. So I've got a rig that is perfectly legal on here, which is all mono all the way through, and it's really, really easy to tie. So I'll show you that. And then, yeah, I'll keep you updated if any fish come along. Right guys, so this is the rig for the session. And it's the clone rig, or the Amnesia D rig, you might call it. Very, very, very simple to tie. You literally do a knotless knot, and then the tag end, you put a hook ring swivel onto the tag end, poke it back through the eye and blob it with a lighter. And then you just floss your bait on, little blob of putty in the middle, and that is it. I've just tied up 5 of these in about 10 minutes. They're so quick to tie. And I really like this rig at the moment. It's done me proud on every session recently. And it just seems to work in different situations. You know, you can have it slightly longer if you're fishing in silt, or you could use a helicopter rig so it settles on the top. But I tend to use on hard bottoms like this lake, just a lead clip really. Got tubing on because there's no leaders on here, so just, you know, tubing down to a lead clip, and then the hook length's about 8 or 9 inches, with a yellow pop-up and a amino ester hard hook bait there, and that's it. Just fished over 30 freebies on 2 rods, you know, sort of 30 between both rods, and the rods are fished side by side on the far margin, and that is it. It doesn't get more simple really. I was saying earlier about kind of tactics for short sessions in the winter, and a lot of it comes down to the venue that you're on. You know, if you want bites in a short time in winter, you need to fish a venue that's got a good stock. This lake isn't massive, you know, it's 2 or 3 acres, and there's quite a lot of fish in here. You know, there's a lot of doubles, but also quite a few 20s. So it's a good water for a bite in the winter, and you know, simple tactics work. So that's what I'm using. If I went to a different lake where, you know, it might be that you have to use maggots, or you might have to use boilie crumb and liquids, or you might have to fish 6, you know, it all depends on the water, and you've got to choose a water that, you know, produces fish, and then you've got to work out what works, and every lake is different, so you can't really fish the same everywhere you go. But on this lake, boilies seem to work really well, and a little snowman just to avoid the roach. You know, I'd probably use a straight out the bag boilie if there weren't any roach, but I think the snowman is just a little bit bigger, so it's harder for them to get in the mouths. So yeah, that's the tactics, guys. Can't get more simple than that really. We've got overnight tonight and then all of tomorrow morning, and we leave sort of about lunchtime tomorrow, so plenty of time for a bite. I've just had a liner on the left-hand rod as well, so I think there might be some fish in the area. I'm probably going to walk around and put a couple more baits out just to sort of freshen the spot up, and then it'll be getting dark very soon. The day has gone so quick. So yeah, I'm going to put the kettle on and have a nice cup of tea and watch the water for a bit, and then maybe go put a little bit of bait out before it gets dark. Right guys, There you go, absolute stunner, really dark and scaly. Not the biggest fish in the pond, but absolutely blown away with that one. Look at the state of it, it's so gorgeous. And it's nice to be off the mark on a cold winter session in January, so it shows the tactics are working. I'll get this one back and get the rod back out because it's very nearly dark. And yeah, hopefully we'll get a few through the night. Right, here we go. Fish number 2 there. It's a little bit lively because it's been in the water just while I was sorting the rods out. I've recast the right hand rod now, just because it was on a white snowman, and it's the yellow that's produced 2 fish now. So I recast that one and obviously redid this rod and left the fish in the net. So he's kind of had a chance to wake up a little bit and he's nice and lively, which doesn't make it easy for filming and taking photos. But in a second he's going to calm down and I'll show you. There we go. Lovely. Nice sort of low double common. Beautiful fish in this lake, really nice and dark and lean, and they fight really hard. Not massive, but you know, it's all about bites, isn't it, in winter, and we've had a couple now and there's plenty of time for a couple more. Hopefully I've got the rods out, a little bit more bait over the top. I'm just hoping that one of those bigger ones comes along because I'd love to show you a 20 pounder from this lake. They're absolutely beautiful. So I'll get this one back after a couple of photos. And yeah, let's see what happens for the rest of the night. It's only early, it's still only about 8 o'clock, so plenty of time for a few more. Right, we've had another one, guys. Again on the left-hand rod. I'm not quite sure what's going on, why the other rod's not going. I've switched the right-hand rod onto a yellow one as well. And it's the left-hand rod that's gone again. Again, not the biggest fish. There are some absolute pearlers in here. This is a beautiful fish, you know, really dark. It's got a black mouth on it. I wish it was daytime so I could show you properly, but it is what it is at this time of year. You don't have that much daylight hours. But yeah, the other rod hasn't produced yet, so I'll have to maybe move that a little bit or something just to try and capitalise on the feeding on that area, because they are having it. But unfortunately, it's only on one rod at the moment, so we need to get both rods working so we can get the most out of this session. But yeah, nice fish, probably 13 pounds, something like that. It feels quite heavy, it's quite wide, it's got a bit of a belly on it. But yeah, lovely fish. That's number 3 now, so yeah, we're doing well for January. Hopefully I can keep them coming. Good morning, guys. No more fish to report, unfortunately. I think it was about 11:30 when I had that last one that you saw, that sort of low to mid double mirror, and then it went quiet after that. It got a bit foggy last night. I always think fog can make it quite tricky to catch carp. I'm not sure why that is. I guess it coincides with high pressure, and that's not always the best time to catch carp anyway. But then the wind picked up. Surprisingly, it got up, you know, sort of 20 mile an hour. There was a northwesterly blowing and it did feel quite cold actually, so I just tucked up in my sleeping bag and went to sleep, and nothing happened through the night. So this morning I figured, as nothing's happening, I'd just give them a little bit more bait just to try and pull them back in. So I wound in the rods and wrapped them up ready to go with fresh rigs on, and then I went round and put out another sort of 15 or so boilies in the area, just enough to kind of put a bit of smell in the water. and hopefully the noise of them landing will bring the fish in as well. And I've recast both rods with fresh hook bait, so everything's looking good. I just hope that they come back in and have a feed before I've got to go. I've got about 5 hours left of this session, so we'll see what happens. We've had 3 fish, so you know, I'm happy with that, but it would be lovely to see one of these bigger fish. They've got you know, mid to upper 20s in here that are absolutely amazing looking fish, so I'm just hoping one of those comes along, really. But yeah, I'm just going to have a coffee now and try and warm up, because it is quite chilly this morning. And yeah, I'll keep looking for signs of fish, and perhaps if I do see something show, I can always chuck a single, or if I think they're up in the water, I might even try a zig or something like that. So yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. And yeah, let's see if we can get a bite before we leave. Right, we're running out of time on this session, unfortunately. I've got about an hour left and I need to get packed up because I've got to get on the road and go get my ferry back to the Isle of Wight. It's been a lovely session, you know, I've had those 3 fish and I was kind of hoping for one more before I go. Unfortunately, about an hour ago, my right hand rod did pull up tight and I wound in and there was nothing there, and then when I wound in, it actually went over my other line and wiped out both rods, so then I had to redo both of them, which isn't ideal in the middle of kind of the morning feeding period when you want everything sort of stealthy and hopefully nick a couple of fish. So yeah, that little occurrence, I don't know what happened. It was definitely a take, the bobbin went up to the top, but when I wound into it, there was nothing there. We have to use barbless hooks on there, so maybe the hook had just slipped out or something. But then unfortunately, because the line was over the top of the other one, it sort of dropped down onto it and hooked onto it, and then as I was winding, it started pulling that one in, so wiped out both my rods and then I've had to redo them. But anyway, got them back out and a bit more bait over the top, and I do have an hour left, like I say, so there is still time whilst the rods are in the water, but I am going to start packing up now. If there's no more fish, that'll be the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed it, guys. Remember to subscribe to the Prologic channel, there's lots of content coming this year. We've got an ever-expanding team now of content creators and videographers, and we've got lots of exciting trips coming up. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe and give us a thumbs up for the video. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.